Hello, and a very warm welcome to this latest episode of NTIQ TAP, helping you meet your CPD requirements, and of course, keeping you up to date with all the all the things going on in the personal insolvency industry. So let's have a little look what this one's all about. Well, it's all about the IVA Protocol Covid-19 Guidance. There's an update on that, and also a further update on the breathing space and some progress with that. So let's have a little look at what the updates are all about. So the IVA Protocol Covid-19 Guidance has been extended. So Dear IP 134, which came out around about a week or so ago, I think, reported that the Protocol Covid-19 Support Guidance, which of course you will probably know was extended earlier this year to the 31st of July 2021, of course, has been further extended to the end of the year, to the 31st of December 2021. And there are some updates to that guidance. So stay tuned. So given the revised IVA protocol, which of course is effective from the 1st of August, I beg your pardon, the COVID-19 protocol guidance should not be applied to any IVAs agreed after the 31st of July 21. So the COVID-19 protocol guidance, of course, is for IVAs that were drawn up under the 2016 protocol. So it's expected that new IVAs should be proposed on the basis that they have a reasonable prospect of success and are sustainable. And I mean, obviously that was the aim with the 2016, but something might have happened since. The Insolvency Service would not expect the consumer to need a reduction in payment or a payment break within the first 6 months of the arrangement. And if one is needed for circumstances unforeseen by the nominee and or the consumer, the provisions in the 2021 protocol should be used. So the provision at paragraph 1.12 on the release of equity does not apply to IVAs agreed after the 31st of July. Paragraph 1.12a on the use of discretion to add additional payments to an existing IVA instead of releasing equity because the consumer has been adversely affected by the pandemic continues to apply to all IVAs, all existing IVAs. The provision relating to critical workers overtime not forming contributions has now been removed. And the provision relating to redundancy payments as a result of job loss, specifically because of COVID-19, has been removed because I suppose everything's slowly getting back to normal, isn't it? Supervisors should continue to use their discretion in respect of redundancy payments above 6 months' salary as set out in the 2021 protocol. Okay, so that's the COVID-19 guidance for the protocol. In terms of the breathing space, the Insolvency Service have provided a breathing space update at the end of July. They've provided that to debt advisors, and this is their first update. So apparently they now have over 600 onboarded money advisors and almost 1,500 onboarded creditors registered to use the service. Many creditors have received some postal notifications as well as electronic ones, which I think they're a bit puzzled about. The reason for that is that happens when a creditor is entered as an ad hoc creditor on the breathing space system rather than the centrally managed party, the CMP, being selected. So the Insolvency Service have been working with money advisors to increase the use of the CMP creditor option and reduce the amount of ad hoc creditors being created. So please use the CMP system rather than CMP option rather than creating effectively triplicate creditors, which will already exist on the system, I suspect. The breathing space operational team at the Insolvency Service will apparently be undertaking a housekeeping exercise over the summer. They may well have already started that to make it easier for advisors to find creditors on the system. They say that advisors should take care to routinely use the CMP creditor option and only add ad hoc creditors where there is no CMP entry. Using CMP will also enable notifications to reach creditors quickly and allow the breathing space protections to be applied earlier for the client, of course. When debt advisors identify a qualifying debt for the Department for Work and Pensions, the DWP, the correct annotation for entering into the electronic service is Department for Work and Pensions, not DWP. So make sure you use the full title or any other variation thereof. Make sure it's the full title. Some advisors have apparently tried to enter DWP or similar and been unable to find them, and have then, as a result, created duplicate ad hoc creditors, which hasn't been helpful, apparently. So when creating ad hoc creditors and entering the postal notification address in the portal, some characters cannot be used at the start of an address line, but can be used in the middle or end of an address line. So those are those. So square brackets, slashes, parentheses, an at symbol, greater than and less than, inverted commas, comma, equals, and the little squiggly thing, which I believe is called a cedilla, but I might be wrong. Going into the depths of school memory there. When a tax credit customer, a TC for tax credit, makes a new claim for universal credit, UC, see what they've done there. For example, when they lose their job, their TC award is stopped. HMRC will receive a stop notice from the DWP, which is then automatically sent when a claim for UC is made. Any TC overpayments will then be transferred to DWP and recovered from their UC award. If a claimant has moved to UC, HMRC will write to them with a letter called Your Tax Credit Overpayments. If the customer has a TC overpayment that is eligible for inclusion in a breathing space, check to see if they are receiving UC. If so, then please inform DWP of the breathing space for this TC debt rather than HMRC. The advisor must still notify HMRC of breathing space for any other eligible HMRC debts. HMRC can also collect self-assessment, tax credits, VAT, and PAYE, and those debts can be collected through a private debt collection agency as well, or a DCA. They love an acronym in this breathing space update, by the way, as you've probably noticed. The agency will write to the customer, and customers will make repayments for those debts directly to them. If any of those debts are eligible to be included in a breathing space, the debt advisor should inform HMRC rather than the DCA. HMRC will let the DCA know that the customer is in a breathing space, and action will be taken to stop collection and apply the breathing space protections. DCAs used by HMRC are the following: First Locate, trading as LCS, Advantis Credit Limited, Bluestone Consumer Finance Limited, trading as Bluestone Credit Management, BPO Collections Limited, CCS Collect, also known as Commercial Collection Services Limited, Moorcroft, Oriel Collections Limited, and Past Due Credit Solutions, also known as PDCS. Okay, so just be aware of that. Debt advisors are reporting higher than expected contact with creditors about breathing space debts. This is understandable, of course, given that breathing space is a new invention, a new concept. Paragraph 310 of the creditor guidance will be amended shortly to provide further guidance on where it's unnecessary for a creditor to contact a money advisor. The amended guidance will clarify that creditors should not contact the debt advisor, firstly, to ask them to correct what they consider are errors in the notification, for example, the incorrect debt balance, as those aren't relevant to the right to obtain a breathing space or its protections. And then secondly, to query a debt being included in a breathing space because it's a small amount of money or where the debt has not yet entered the collections or recovery process. A creditor can ask for a review if they consider that the debt is not a qualifying debt or that the debtor is ineligible for a breathing space. Because the breathing space project has now closed and it's been implemented, it's now law, the following addresses have closed on the 30th of July. So that is breathing space project at insolvency.gov.uk and debtadvisor.breathingspace at insolvency.gov.uk. So don't use those addresses anymore. What you should now do is send any general inquiries to the customer services team at breathingspace@insolvency.gov.uk. And if you have any specific IT problems, report those to itproblems.breathingspace@insolvency.gov.uk. We are told that Shelter's Specialist Debt Advice Service, the SDAS, is available to support advisors with case-specific inquiries on breathing space. Between April and June, breathing space had accounted for 13% of the overall inquiry volumes into that shelter service. The highest number of inquiries around moratorium protections and when those apply. So don't forget to list the creditor and not the court in a breathing space as well, just as one final thing. Apparently, the County Court Administration Centre are receiving 10 breathing space notifications a day, and presumably it's only going to get worse, which is resulting in additional work for court staff and preventing or delaying breathing space protections being applied by creditors for the client. Okay, so hopefully a useful update for you. Obviously, make sure you're applying the right bits of the protocol and the COVID-19 guidance as necessary, and then of course make sure you're following those breathing space tips there. Thanks for joining me. Pleasure to have you with me as ever. We'll look forward to seeing you very soon on NTIQ TAP. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.